Little did I know, as a 20-year-old fleeing the University of Massachusetts, that soon I would be hanging out with a gonzo doctor and a prankster. You see, I wanted to change my location to change everything. So I enrolled at the University of Oregon and quickly signed up for the concerts committee so that I could meet new people and pursue my interest in live music production. I signed up for the guest lecture series, and I was assigned the security position where I would be personal security and the escort to the after party for the lecturer. And I thought, well, that'll be easy. Dr. Hunter S. Thompson was coming. So he arrived about 90 minutes late, 3 sheets to the wind. And everyone was bustling backstage. And he pointed and said, "Where does that door go?" And I said, "To the stage." And everybody said, "Oh, you're not ready for that yet." And at which point he stood up and opened the door and walked out on the stage to the joy of the 900 people who were there to see him. What came next was 2.5 hours of stream of consciousness, punctuated by pearls of wisdom. The show ended when a 6'5" anarchist ran down the center aisle, jumped on stage, and demanded an autograph. At which point I escorted Thompson to the backstage, whereupon he collapsed upon a catering cart. While I was wondering what to do, 2 people showed up, and I recognized them as Ken Babs and Ken Kesey of the Merry Pranksters. And I had read The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test by Thomas Wolfe in preparation for moving west. And they said, "We're bringing Hunter out to the bus. We have a video project." And since I had read that book, I knew not to trust them. So I said, "I am to stay with him." And they said, "Well, you do what you have to do." And they grabbed the cart and they started out through the departing audience screaming, "Man down! Man down!" I followed out to the parking lot where they hoisted Hunter to his feet and entered the Technicolor Further bus. Now I stood there with my back to the door for about 10 minutes until I gathered the gumption to walk backwards up the stairs, find a vacant seat, and sit down and attempt to look invisible. About 10 minutes later, Kesey closed the door and said, "If you don't want to end up in the middle of the woods in the middle of the night, get off the bus." He fired the engine out of the parking lot and into the Oregon night. We pulled up about 20 miles later to his farmhouse, and he parked the bus in his hangar garage, and the after party ensued. He put on the Grateful Dead's American Beauty, which even by 1990s standards was a tad cliche. Everybody from the lecture did end up at Kesey's farmhouse, and after a little while, I wandered out into the yard, and Kesey was standing there, and he's a bear of a man, and he was talking to a well-appointed young woman whose whole demeanor just screamed journalism major or college newspaper reporter. And she said, "You all were very famous for having taken LSD in the 60s. Do you still do that?" He said, "No, we're way too old for that." Now he was standing there with a 1-liter bottle of water in his hand, and he was absent-mindedly swirling it, and my eyes fixed on the 3 tiny squares of paper that were caught in the current. As night was turning into dawn, the party moved inside Kesey's farmhouse, and I walked up the driveway, and I paused, remembering my goal of change your location and change everything. I looked at the sky, and I felt the Oregon mist on me, and I thought, done.